Are you finding it harder and harder to save money and stay out of living from paycheck to paycheck? I know we are, and you're not alone. So we had some unforeseen circumstances come up, and then we had graduation, and that has taken us down with our savings tremendously. And now I'm looking and facing of living paycheck to paycheck and how to save on weeks where there's not much to save. So today's video, we are going to talk about that. And if you're finding it's harder and harder and you're living paycheck to paycheck, tune in. I have some great tips and tricks for you, whether it's in the garden, in the kitchen, or maybe just some inspiration for you. I know I need it too. Welcome to Pinebrook Homestead. My name is Marie, a happy wife with 4 boys, 2 grandchildren, and 1 on the way. I've been a full-time mother and homemaker for 35 years, with the last 14 developing our suburban homestead and gardens. Over the years, there have been many curveballs and difficulties thrown our way. Looking back, we conquered them all with hard work and prayer. Join me this month as we have another valley to walk through and mountain to climb to save money. I promise some inspiration in the kitchen, in the gardens, and for you. So you might be looking around and you're like, wow, she has all these plants and all these gardens. And I've been working on this homestead for 14 years. All of these plants, I bought seed packets, which is the most inexpensive way. So one of my number one tips is if you can do it yourself and learn the skill, you will save money. Whether it is learning how to bake bread or whether it's learning how to grow plants and you can do it in containers, you can make up the garden beds. The lower garden we started 13 years ago. The upper garden we started in 2020. Yes, the year of COVID. So, we've put all this work in. And so I am forever grateful that I will have all this food coming in, and that will just keep the food budget way down. Um, and it's beautiful and it is healing and therapeutic and mentally it keeps you sane. It really does. But if that's not your thing, what else can you do? Well, I know there are discount grocery stores out there. You can look there. You can buy in bulk if the funds will allow it. This week it was tiny. I had to look at my husband and go, can't spend a dime. We are not spending a dime. And I did my video on a no spend June. And I have things I want to pay off. I need to build our savings back up. And for some reason, it just feels like this insurmountable mountain that we have to climb. It really does. Do you ever feel that way? It just seems like lately everything is more expensive. Our electricity, even though I have brought it down, and I'll share that story with you and how I did it. Even though our electricity, I brought it down, it is still more expensive than last year. The gas for our home is more expensive. Gasoline for our cars. I don't know about you, but we are paying $3.19 a gallon. I don't know where you are, but that is outrageous. I am in the suburbs of Ohio. Everything is more expensive. And they just keep saying, if you listen to the news, sometimes I have to tune them out. Otherwise, they stress me out. But they keep saying this hyperinflation, depression, recession, all this stuff. And I'm like, just stop. I cannot listen to it over and over and over. So my thing is, yes, we need to be aware. Okay. But we need to be able to do something about it. And that's where I want this channel to be. So I don't want to regurgitate all the bad that's going on in this world. I want to give you solutions because as I'm giving you solutions, I'm implementing the same solutions. So join me on this ride as we tackle saving some money, doing it ourselves, and yeah, we'll make it through. We will. You know, God always says, "Don't worry about tomorrow because today has enough worry of its own today." And I truly believe that. I really do. I'm not worried, but what I won't do is sit idle and just think everything's going to change in a moment. No, I believe we have to do some added work. Um, Hard work is always rewarded. And I'm not I'm talking about in your home and doing the little extra things that save you money. Maybe, yesterday I mended a shirt for my son rather than, tossing it in the Goodwill or throwing it away or ripping it up for rags. I mended it. I'm not even a sewer. Do you sew? Can you mend your own clothes? I'm not buying clothes. I've got older t-shirts. I'm a t-shirt type of girl, and that's what I'm wearing. I'm not going to buy clothes. I'm not into the fast fashion. What means more to me is the security for the family. And I'm sure it does to you too. Security of your home, security of food, um, security for the family, having that backup, that savings. So, one of the other first things to do is always pay yourself. Let's say all you have left is $50 for the week. Okay. What can you do to put at least $5 back into the savings, $10 back into the savings? If you can, put 25 in and just don't spend a darn thing for the week. And don't run out and just think, well, just swipe the credit card because that bill is going to come back and it's going to haunt you. We have one, I know. Yeah. And that's one of the things that I really want to get paid off as well as build the savings. So there are a lot of things that we can do. Um, I mainly focus on the bills and the kitchen area. My husband focuses on the cars. I do focus on the gardens. Yes. That's a dual pleasure of my husband and I. But use the apps for your grocery stores that give you money off of your gas. And I know Fridays is normally a grocery store day for me because our local Kroger does give us 4 times the fuel points. I don't buy everything at Kroger. I think it's too expensive. I deal shop throughout, and I will take you on one of my $25 um, a week grocery shopping. But yesterday, I didn't go. I didn't go to the grocery store. And I'm going to share what I did for my children for pancakes with you in just a little bit because I just was like, that was genius. I was low on milk. I didn't want to go spend it yet. And if I make food for my kids, and I have 2 teenagers who are always hungry, if I make the food for them, then I'm not having to go buy all this convenience food. How about you? Do you have anybody left at home, teenagers or little kids even? And it's tough. But this month, I am going to be sharing some of the snack ideas, some of the quick meals that you can do for kids that are healthy and economical, and they are going to want to eat. So, back to what else we can do. So, let's talk electricity. My husband, love him dearly, he swore that the whole house fan needed to be on 24/7. Okay. And we had done that for years just to constantly circulate the house. I got online and there are good things to it and there are bad things to it. The bad is the amount of electricity that you're using. So I asked my husband to change out the furnace filter. It was time on our list. So he's changed it out. We turned it off, turned the fan off, changed it out. He accidentally, when he turned the fan back on, put it in recirculating mode. which meant it comes on every so many hours and it recirculates all the air in the house versus running constantly. Do you know what that saved me a month? $60 a month in electricity. I was never so happy to see that electric bill. And then if you've been with me for a while, you knew we had a hot tub, which was right where I'm sitting. The hot tub went down. We clicked that electric off. We don't need the water. We don't need the electricity anymore. It's gone. So that brought it down. But I had 1 month, and I'm pretty much an all electric home except for gas furnace and gas water heater. So the 1 month I was able to get my electric bill under $200. And I was like, yes, we made it. How far can we go again? And then the next month it was like 206. And I was like, what did we do? And I don't know if it was an extra day in the month. I don't know. But I was like, what did we do wrong? So I am reevaluating that. And, my house is a little bit darker, especially in the kitchen. All the leaves are out and everything. But I'm going to use my lanterns, use my candlelight, which I absolutely love. And I'm just going to turn the lights off. I am going to be using my slow cooker and my Instapot more than my oven right now, although I do have to use it to bake the bread. There's various things that I'm doing. I have my Simplify candle that I have left on because I put it way up top. I'll show you that. I'm turning it off. If it runs on electric, I'm turning it off. I need to lower these bills. Now, the nice thing is my gas bill will automatically go down. It'll go down to about $50 versus $80 a month. So there's some savings there. Another thing you can do, of course, check your subscriptions. Do you have any lingering out there? Cut them off, get rid of them. I have Spotify for my son and I think we're just going to go to free Spotify. So what? We have to listen to ads. It's an extra $12 a month that I can put back. The other thing is a lot of people don't have cable anymore, but we all have internet. So I don't know where you are, but my internet company did the introductory price to get us sold into the company. And then at the end of the year, doubled it. So I told my husband, I said, let's call them. And I looked up what another internet company was in our area. And I called him and I'm like, look, I'm going to change companies because you are double the price. Of course, they don't want to lose you. So they're going to try to keep you, lower the bill, and they actually increased our internet. So, but that was a $50 savings. That was a lot. $50 in a month. Yeah, I'll take it all day long. There's just so many things like that you can look at. I don't get my hair cut or colored anymore. I'm going natural. My husband likes it. Yes, I'm letting the gray come in. But I don't get a cut anymore. I cut my own bangs and I'm going to have my husband come and trim the back of my hair. I don't care anymore. I actually was getting ready to go to a friend who is a hairdresser. And I was supposed to have the appointment yesterday. And I asked her, how much are your haircuts anymore? And she said $50. And I was like, plus tip, that means I'm spending over $60 to have my haircut. I don't need it. I don't need it anymore. And I think this is the part where we all have to get to being able to say what is more important and what am I willing to sacrifice. And that's where I'm at. Any of you out there sacrificing as well? I know you are. I see comments. I know you are. What are you doing? And leave it in the comments below so we can all share and learn from each other. But what is something that you have done that has lowered a bill dramatically? Call your insurance companies. Check and see if you can find a better insurance price. All of these things add up. And then, of course, Shop the loss leaders if you're still doing the grocery store, shop the sale prices and work your meals from there. Um, Shop the perimeter if you can get down to whole foods cooking. That is by far the best, not only for you and your health, but on your checkbook. So, right now, I'm going to just kind of show you around, get in the kitchen, and tend to a couple gardening things. I've got a few tips for you on your tomato plants, and then I've got some things for you inside. So I came out to do some pruning on the tomato plants, and I found a sucker that I had missed. And there's actually little flowers on it and everything. But what I am doing is I'm putting it in a glass of water and I'm going to root it. And then I will have another tomato plant. And this is the indeterminate type. So I'm excited to kind of see what this does. And then the other thing that I am doing, or this leaf isn't as bad. It's not touching the soil, but this one is. So I am literally going in and just taking off the leaf that is touching the soil. I don't want any disease on this plant from the rain and everything. And we have had a lot of rain. I did undersow this with carrots and they're looking pretty good. I'm not seeing that I need to thin out, well, maybe this one, thin out too many. And then I have the carrots next to me, but I'm just maximizing as much space as I can. Now I do want to show you the other container garden while we're out here. And, you know, I'll tell you when times are tough, the garden is truly a healing and helps me mentally get through the hard times. Um, to be out here to tend to the plants, to see the flowers, knowing that we're going to have tomatoes, um, just being in nature, using my hands, it is it is very therapeutic. So if you haven't tried gardening and you're in a hard time, grab a packet of seeds. But I want to take you down and just kind of give you a look at how well the peppers are doing in the container, and I'll explain why in just a minute. So if you worry about doing vegetables in containers, please don't. It is super easy, and sometimes they actually do better than when they're in the ground. So we are excited to have these peppers. So the summer squash and zucchini, they are all doing well. They're greening up and growing, and I am super excited about these. I have 3 of the summer squash and 3 zucchini up here. But then when I turn you over to the peppers, we have had so much rain the past couple days that, and you can see, I just dumped these out. But one of the reasons why I think the peppers up here are doing better is one, the deck is hotter, but two, the pots drain better. And in the terracotta, they just don't get as wet. In my lower garden where I have the peppers, yes, they're in raised beds, but it just seems like it's not drying out as quickly as the peppers up here. I have topped all of these. So we're going to start seeing the side shoots coming out. The lunchbox I did not top, but everything else I did. So I'm super excited. The cucumbers up here are doing much better than what they are doing in the lower garden. The dill's coming up. I see a couple zinnias popping up and the calendula. And then here's the rest of the peppers. And then the other 2 squashes. So here are some of the peppers that I have down in the lower garden. And like I said, they're looking okay. Some of the leaves are yellowing a little bit, falling off. And I think tonight I will be putting some fertilizer on them before all the rain comes in tomorrow. So many of you know, if you've been with me for a while, that I absolutely love my Simplify candle. And since I've moved it to the top of the hutch, I have left it on all day, 24 hours. I've left it on. And it reminds me, it's a reminder to simplify, but every penny counts right now. And so I'm going to turn it off. And maybe I will enjoy it for those couple hours in the evening rather than all day. So when it starts to get dusk, I'll turn it on and then turn it off before I go to bed. And that might work a little bit better. But like I said, every penny counts. Does that mean I am not still in my Simplify realm? No, I love that. And I am simplifying. But I have a video coming that I have ideas for you to still do the things you love, but do them for free. I promised you that pancake recipe. Now, in the bowl is 2 cups of sourdough discard. So if you have a sourdough mix, you can totally do this. It is so inexpensive. Right now, I'm just going to feed my sourdough because I do want to put some loaves of bread together as well as make some bagels for the week. This recipe I cannot take credit for. When I was first learning to do sourdough, I got the recipe from Farmhouse on Boone, so I will link it in the description box below for you. After you have your 2 cups of sourdough discard, you are going to need 2 eggs, 2 tablespoons of honey, a 1/4 cup of coconut oil, a teaspoon of baking soda, and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. That's it. You know, I was looking at making pancakes for my kids and I lifted up my milk jug and I had about 2 cups of milk in there. I didn't want to go to the store. I didn't want to buy it. And all of a sudden it came back, this recipe. It works. It is so flavorful and it's good for you with the fermented sourdough. So I am just going to mix the eggs in and then we will add in the 2 tablespoons of honey. And yes, I am kind of eyeballing it. Again, it is 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Super simple ingredients we normally always have around the house. A 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And then we will add in the oil. I am using a dough whisk to bring this all together. I said in one of my other videos that my hand mixer went down and it is a no spend June. So I guess I'm going to work those muscles and just mix this by hand. It's actually very easy with the dough whisk. I do have my cast iron heating up behind me. And you can do this on the stove, super simple. I will add some ghee to the pan before I put in the pancake mix. And then as you're making them, you just want to see those bubbles so that you know that the underside is cooked before you flip. Because I put the homemade ghee in the pan, I am not adding butter to the top of the pancakes because it already has that nutty butter taste to them, which is amazing. I do have my homemade ghee and how I do it in other videos. I can link that video for you as well. And that's it. Now you can just enjoy them with your favorite syrup. We're back out at the garden. This is a seeding square that I picked up years ago, and I use it a lot for planting green beans, so I get the spacing correct so I can cram enough in. But I had some areas where either I missed when I was seeding all this, or it just didn't come up. I saved my green bean seed back in 2022, and I have been seeding this ever since. So this is my 3rd year. And it is the green bean contender, and they are prolific, and I get a ton of beans from this. But, you know, I was looking at this bed and I thought, well, I could just leave the space. And then I went, no, I'm going to take matters into my own hand. I'm going to come out. I'm going to reseed. We have more storms pouring in today, so that'll help water the seed in. And you know, are there areas in your life that maybe there's a hole in that you could fill and take matters into your own hands and make it a little bit easier on yourself and your budget when you're going paycheck to paycheck? So I'm here to encourage you as I'm doing this. And coming up with and sharing with what I'm doing, I want you to know I am doing all of these things. And I will be showing you more, even meatless recipes. I just saw a video, and I'm in Ohio, and I think she's in South Carolina, but the ground beef at Walmart was $7.99 a pound. Who can afford that? Especially when you're on a tight budget. So I am going to have so many ideas for you in the kitchen, out in the garden, and just doing things ourselves so that we can save more money and maybe even get ahead. I want to get ahead. I want to get out of this, and together we will. I promise. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And I hope this message, this video was a blessing to you, maybe encouragement. I hope I gave you some tips and tricks that you might be able to use. And I invite you to please, if you have done something that has made major savings in your household, would you leave it in the comments below? And that way, everyone who watches this video, they can go check out the comments and maybe pick up more ideas that I didn't even mention in this video. So I just want to thank all of you for watching till the end. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.